Good morning, students. Let's continue from where we left in part 1 of the visitors. Again, she had to think, and again she was able. With Rudy holding her up, she made herself drop once more to the ground on her back. My papa, she said. The sky, she noticed, was utterly blue, not even suggestions of a cloud. Could you get him, Rudy? Stay there. Liesel kept one eye on the partyman. A minute later, Hans Habermann was standing calmly above her. Hey, Papa. A disappointed smile mingled with his lips. I was wondering when this could happen. He picked her up and helped her home. The game went on, and the Nazi was already at the door of a lodging a few doors up. No one answered. Once inside their house, Liesel gave him the information. She attempted to find the middle ground between silence and despair. Papa, the party, she whispered. Papa stopped. He thought of the urge to open the door and looked up the street. They are checking basements to make shelters. He set her down. Smart girl, he said, and then called for Rosa. They had a minute to come up with a plan, a shamoozle of thoughts. We all just put Max in Liesel's room, was Mamma's suggestion. Under the bed? That's it. What if they decide to search our rooms as well? Do you have a better plan? Correction. They did not have a minute. A knock was hammered into the door of 33 Himmel Street, and it was too late to move anyone anywhere. Open up. Their heartbeats fought each other, a mess of rhythm. On this day, it was Papa who rose to the occasion. He rushed to the basement door and threw a warning down the steps. When he returned, he spoke fast and fluent. Look, there is no time for tricks. We could distract him 100 different ways, but there is only one solution. He eyed the door and summed up. Nothing. That was not the answer Rosa wanted. Her eyes widened. Nothing? Are you crazy? The knocking resumed. Papa was strict. Nothing. We don't even go down there. Not a care in the world. Everything slowed. Rosa accepted it, clenched with distress. She shook her head and proceeded to answer the door. Liesel, Papa warned. Just stay calm, understand? Yes, Papa. She tried to concentrate on her bleeding leg. Aha. At the door, Rosa was still asking the meaning of this interruption when the kindly partyman noticed Liesel. The maniacal football player, he grinned. How's the knee? You don't usually imagine the Nazis being too chirpy, but this man certainly was. He came in and made as if to crouch and view the injury. Does he know? Liesel thought. Can he smell we are hiding a Jew? Papa came from the sink with a wet cloth and soaked it onto Liesel's knee. Does it sting? His silver eyes were clearing and calm. The scare in them could easily be mistaken as concern for the injury. Rosa called across the kitchen. It can't sting enough. Maybe it will teach her a lesson. The partyman stood and laughed. I don't think this girl is learning any lesson out there. Frau Havermann, I think she teaches lesson to all those boys. Am I right, young girl? Papa shoved the cloth into the injury, and Liesel winced rather than answered. It was Hans who spoke. A quiet, Sorry for the girl. There was a discomfort of silence then, and the partyman remembered his purpose. If you don't mind, he explained, I need to inspect your basement just for a minute or two to see if it's suitable for a shelter. Papa gave Little's knee a final dab. You will have a nice bruise there too, Little. Casually, he acknowledged the man above them. Certainly, first door on the right. Please excuse the mess. I wouldn't worry. It can't be worse than some of the others I have seen today. This one, that's it. The longest 3 minutes in Haberman's history. Papa sat at a table. Rosa prayed in the corner, mouthing the words. Little was cocked, her knee, her chest, the muscles in her arm. I doubt any of them had the audacity to consider that they had to do if the basement was appointed as a shelter. They had to survive the inspection first. They listened to noisy footsteps in the basement. There was a sound of measuring tape. Liesel could not ward off the thought of Max sitting beneath the staircase to the basement, huddled around his sketchbox, hugging it to his chest. So let's analyze this part. What we came to know, what we found in this part. Let's analyze it. So, who takes command of the situation? Or better, let's begin further out. Why does Liesel drop to the ground and ask Rudy to get her father? Liesel notices that the sky is blue without a cloud. What does this all signify? To Liesel, it signifies a promise that all will be well, despite the desperate situation that they have to face now. How is the suspense heightened as the partyman gets on with his job and the children get back to their game? Why does Liesel's father say she was a smart girl? Actually, he appreciates her for thinking on her feet and feigning a fall that gave her time to give him the bad news without arousing anyone's suspicion. That's why she is regarded as a smart girl. So, how does the suspense move towards the climax of the story? Let's see. The point that has been said, their heartbeats fought each other, a mess of rhythm. This line expresses the various kind of anxieties in the precariousness of the situation. Not just a Jew, but they would also be punished, perhaps even killed, for not being in sympathy with the government. So their concern would be for themselves as much as for the refugee in their basement. Additionally, the parents would have worried for their child more than for themselves. The tension among the family was not geared towards one issue but several issues. Therefore, the description of their heartbeats being a mess of rhythms fighting each other instead of being harmonious in a graphic way of saying that their emotional response to the same situation were different. Now, who takes the command of the situation and how? Of course, Papa. That means Mr. Haberman. What was Papa's plan to prevent the Nazis from finding Max? No plan? Actually, he had no plan at all. What is surprising about the visitors at the door? Why did the writer comment on the man's friendliness? The general impression we have of Nazis is that they are ruthless and grim, set on doing their job without any human feelings. And yet, this man is described as smiling while teasing Liesel and showing concern for her bleeding knees. The writer wishes to show that he is a father at heart, though he may be doing the duty of a partyman. So, how does the writer show Liesel's fear? How does the writer hide Papa's fear? How does Rosa comment each ease the situation while heightening the suspense? Rosa hopes the hurt will teach Liesel not to play such rough games with the boys, and her remark amuses the partyman who obviously admires Liesel's grit. This domestic scene of camaraderie heightens the situation tension the family may be enduring, knowing the purpose of the stranger's visit and how it might end. So, why has the writer capitalized the 3 minutes of the search? To show the reader that the 3 minutes would have seemed like an eternity to the Habermans. The writer not only highlights the fact as if it were a headline for a news item, but also stretches out how each one of them went through it. Rosa prayed, mouthing the words soundlessly. Liesel was hurting in body and spirit, and Papa sat at the table for a while before walking to the hall and calling out to the partymen. None of them had the courage to think of what they would do if their basement was considered good enough to be used as a shelter. They were too preoccupied with the present inspection. As they listened intently to sounds from the basement, Liesel could not keep away thoughts of poor Max hiding under the stairway to the basement, hugging his sketchbox in sheer fear. So that was what they were thinking, and all this raised their heartbeats. So that's it for today. Thank you. Rest will continue in the last part.